North Korean leader Kim Jong Un has been trying to build a new image for himself. He's gotten a new wardrobe and lost some weight. He's also been showing emotion while still being the commander-in-chief who oversees epic missile launches.
He's going for versatility. North Korea's propaganda strategy under Kim Jong Un are modernization and transparency.
The shift comes as the regime is facing a lot of challenges at home. North Korean analysts say adapting the regime's propaganda is one way to keep the message under control. So we examined recent footage that shows Kim's efforts to modernize what his predecessors did, as he redefines what it means to be the leader of one of the world's most isolated regimes. Kim Jong Un is the third leader of North Korea after his father and grandfather. He took power in late 2011 when he was believed to be just 27 years old.
Kim Jong Un started off building his public image modeled on his grandfather.
Rachel Lee is a former North Korea analyst for the U.S. government, who now works for a website that provides analysis about the regime. Until recently, Kim Jong Un had been borrowing from his grandfather's propaganda playbook.
The way he likes to give public speeches. When you see Kim Jong Un going out, visiting places or giving inspections, you see him mingling with people. So when people see him, they're reminded of Kim Il-sung. But in recent years, he's broken out of that shell now and he's trying to build his own brand.
And this rebranding comes amid the country's mounting economic problems as a result of ongoing sanctions and the pandemic lockdown. Plus, there's been major flooding and crop failures that have led to food shortages. A state-run South Korean think tank estimates that the North needs more than 5 million tons of food annually. But last year, it could have faced food shortages of more than 1 million tons. That food deficit means an average North Korean is getting around 450 calories fewer than what's recommended by the United Nations. Lee says citizens won't believe the regime if all these issues are covered up.
So North Korea has really made an effort to be more transparent, to be persuasive to the people, and also to make the content more interesting.
To do that, Kim's been attempting to break the mold by trying new things, like in this highly edited video that showcases the launch of what Pyongyang described as a next-generation intercontinental ballistic missile.
Him walking out in front of a missile, that's something that you would see maybe in a Mission Impossible movie.
This is a big departure from previous weapons tests, where Kim often watched from inside a control room, and the event was announced by a news anchor describing what happened. Lee says this kind of elaborate production can drum up support for the military, even amid questions about the regime's weapons capability. About a week after the launch, South Korean officials questioned whether the ICBM was really new, saying it appeared to be just a dressed-up version of a predecessor. And this stylized video could also have been produced to mollify the North Korean public about a missile test in mid-March that South Korea's military said had failed.
They went out all the way to make the video more special, to kind of bending over backwards, right, overcompensating for what happened. But if they continue to do this, then maybe this is the beginning of a new trend.
Pyongyang hasn't commented on the test or the ICBM launch skepticism. What's also changing is the clothing, and Kim's various outfits are a stark contrast to his father and grandfather. They normally stuck to a uniform, whether it was a suit and necktie or Mao suits, which were popularized by Communist China's first leader. Kim has also allowed t-shirts that North Korea experts say appeared to have his face emblazoned on it, like at this concert last fall.
It's something that you see all the time in the West, and maybe it was somebody's idea to become more modernized.
Lee says this type of casual iconography would never have happened during the regime under Kim's father and grandfather, because propaganda has always portrayed the leaders as sacred and powerful godlike figures. So this modernizing of content marks a turning point, and could come from a desire for Kim to reach a younger generation.
They're more knowledgeable about the outside world, a huge portion of the population that has been exposed to dramas and movies, hence the need to modernize content. And it has to evolve so that people keep tuning into national television.
Another part of Kim's propaganda change, more transparency, especially about the food shortage. This was also something that Kim's father had to manage during his tenure. At the time, there was no real acknowledgement of its severity, even though as many as 1 million people in North Korea had died.
North Korean state media used terms like food shortages and food problem. You would see a more watered down account of what was going on.
Eventually, the US and United Nations stepped in to provide food aid and helped to bring the famine to an end by the late 1990s. But fast forward some 20 years, and Kim Jong Un is going about it differently by openly talking about the food situation that the country faces today. This documentary, called The Great Year of Victory in 2021, aired on state media in February. The narrator says the phrase food crisis, something that North Korea analysts say has never been uttered before in the country's propaganda.
인민 생활에서 제기된 문제들을 시급히 대책하는 데서 나서는 방도적 문제들을 하나하나 밝혀주신 경례하는 총비서 동지.
While Kim has said the country is investing in agriculture and making progress on the food shortage, he's also been physically showing citizens that he understands their struggles. Last June, he appeared at a party meeting looking considerably thinner, and news of his weight loss was widely reported on state media.
And also, you see Kim Jong Un giving a speech, and he was in tears and he was choking up as he talked about the hardships that people had to go through.
아직 노력과 정성이 부족하여 우리 민들이 생활상 어려움에서 벗어나지 못하고 있습니다.
North Korea analysts say it's hard to tell if this new propaganda style is working, and whether younger people are relating to it more than earlier forms. Ultimately, propaganda is not about getting anyone's approval, but shaping and controlling people's perception of the leadership, especially during challenging times as Kim enters the second decade of his rule.